Stephen A. Smith just dropped a bomb that should terrify every WNBA fan. The league's own commissioner is reportedly raging behind closed doors, not about low ratings or empty arenas, but about Caitlin Clark's commercial success. You heard that right. The WNBA finally has a superstar bringing in millions of eyeballs and truckloads of sponsorship money, and apparently the response from headquarters isn't celebration. It's jealousy. Pure, unfiltered executive jealousy. Let's be crystal clear about what we're dealing with here. When Caitlin Clark appeared in a high-profile national commercial recently, reports started surfacing about closed-door meetings at WNBA headquarters, angry phone calls, what Stephen A. Smith describes as absolute rage from Commissioner Cathy Engelbert and the league office, not excitement, not strategic planning sessions on how to capitalize on this momentum. Rage. Think about how backwards that is for a second. Your biggest star lands a massive national advertisement that puts your league in front of millions of people who might never watch women's basketball otherwise. The normal response from any competent sports organization would be to pop the champagne, send out press releases, and ride that wave all the way to the bank. But not the WNBA. Their response was apparently anger and resentment, and Stephen A. Smith isn't speculating anymore, he's confirming it. Many of you have been saying this for weeks in the comments. You've been connecting the dots between the Olympic snub, the on-court targeting, the league's bizarre silence whenever Clark achieved something historic. You were onto something. Because what Smith is exposing goes way deeper than petty player drama. This is fundamental rot in the leadership. This is a league office that views its own golden goose as a threat. If you believe the story behind the story matters, smash that like button. It tells us we're on the right track with this investigation. So let's get into exactly what happened, because the details make this even more insane. The commercial in question featured Caitlin Clark alongside major cultural figures, high production value, slick editing, the kind of premium brand positioning that screams cultural phenomenon, not just another athlete. And that's exactly what set off alarm bells at WNBA headquarters. According to multiple sources, including Smith's own insider information, when this advertisement dropped, Commissioner Cathy Engelbert and her team didn't see an opportunity. They saw a loss of control. Because here's what that commercial represented. Caitlin Clark doesn't need the WNBA to be famous. She doesn't need their marketing department. She doesn't need their permission. She has her own economy now, her own gravitational pull, her own empire completely independent of league approval. And that independence, that's what's driving the rage. Let's break down the psychology here, because understanding why the commissioner would be jealous of her own player is crucial to understanding everything else that's happened this season. Usually in professional sports, leagues control their players because those players need the league for their paycheck and exposure. It's a power dynamic that's existed for decades. The league provides the platform, and in exchange, players follow the rules and stay in line. Caitlin Clark has completely shattered that traditional dynamic. She's making exponentially more money off the court than on it. Her base WNBA salary is roughly $76,000. Meanwhile, her endorsement deals with Wilson, Gatorade, State Farm, and others are worth millions. She could walk away from the WNBA tomorrow and still be wealthier and more famous than every other player in the league combined. That financial independence translates directly to power, and power makes people uncomfortable, especially people who are used to being in charge. Here's where it gets darker. The timing of this particular commercial really set things off, according to insiders. The league has been desperately trying to push a collective narrative all season. They keep reminding everyone that it's not just about one player. They want you to focus on the history, the other veterans, the system itself. They're selling the shield, selling the collective. Then, boom, this commercial drops and absolutely obliterates that messaging in 30 seconds flat. It reminds everyone watching that there's one person actually driving interest in this league right now. And it's not the commissioner with her corporate background and carefully scripted interviews. It's the girl from Iowa who can drain shots from the logo and happen to go viral doing it. The contrast between the WNBA's outdated, low-budget marketing efforts and Clark's premium brand deals is genuinely embarrassing for leadership. When you see Clark in these polished advertisements, she looks powerful, independent, and most importantly, to the league office, bigger than the WNBA itself. The production value screams major league. Meanwhile, the WNBA's official content often feels minor league by comparison. This isn't just about aesthetics, it's about narrative control. The league didn't authorize the creative direction of Clark's commercials. They can't control what she says or how she's portrayed. Brand partners are presenting her as a singular icon, an individual force of nature. That's the opposite of the collective messaging the league wants. Reading between the lines of Smith's comments, this commercial rage is really about the league office realizing they're no longer the main character in their own story. Caitlin Clark is, and they can't stand it. Let's talk about what this means practically. When a player lands massive national commercials, it should raise the value of the entire enterprise. It brings casual fans to games. It sells merchandise. It creates buzz. Every business textbook will tell you that when your star employee succeeds publicly, you celebrate and amplify it. So why is WNBA leadership reportedly mad instead? Because they're not getting credit. Because Clark's off-court earnings dwarf anything the league can pay her, which makes the WNBA look cheap and unprofessional by comparison. When casual fans see Clark in million-dollar ad campaigns and then find out the league pays her a base salary that wouldn't cover rent in most major cities, it invites uncomfortable questions. Questions like, why is the league so broke if this girl is generating so much attention and money? Questions about revenue sharing. Questions about why NBA players get 50% of league revenue while WNBA players get less than 10%. The commercial becomes a reminder of every structural problem the leadership would rather not discuss. Instead of fixing the revenue model or celebrating the exposure Clark brings, the response is apparently defensiveness and rage. They would rather Clark be less famous so they wouldn't have to answer these hard financial questions. That's a scarcity mindset. That's fighting over crumbs while Clark is out here baking an entirely new cake, and Stephen A. Smith sees it. He's been calling it out for months now, but his recent comments have taken a much darker turn. He's not just talking about on-court drama anymore. He's exposing what he believes is active sabotage from the top, leadership that views success as a threat rather than an opportunity. Let's focus on Commissioner Cathy Engelbert specifically, because her role in all of this is crucial. She was brought in as a CEO type from Deloitte, someone who supposedly knows how to crunch numbers and grow a business, but she's been completely outmaneuvered by the Caitlin Clark phenomenon. Her reaction to this new commercial era has been awkward, defensive, and according to Smith, filled with rage. Drop a comment right now with your take. Do you think the commissioner is jealous of Caitlin Clark? Because the evidence keeps piling up. Remember, this is the same commissioner who struggled to answer a basic question about racial toxicity directed at Clark during a televised interview. She tried to give a corporate non-answer, and it backfired spectacularly. The problem is that Engelbert operates in corporate speak while Clark's appeal is authenticity. That disconnect shows every time the commissioner tries to address the Clark phenomenon. Smith has suggested that Engelbert is raging because she knows she's on the hot seat. The owners of WNBA teams are business people. They see the numbers, the chartered flights Clark forced the league to adopt, the sold-out arenas, the merchandise flying off shelves, the television ratings that tripled overnight. If the commissioner is seen as an obstacle to growth, if she's viewed as being petty about commercials rather than capitalizing on them, she won't last long. The rage is likely fear that she's being exposed as the wrong leader for this new era. Clark represents a pace of growth that Engelbert seemingly can't handle. The commercial is a symbol of that speed. It's slick, fast, globally appealing. Meanwhile, the WNBA's official marketing often feels clunky and years behind current trends. It's a clash of aesthetics and competence, and the commissioner is losing badly. Instead of matching Clark's energy and momentum, reports suggest she's just bitter about being outshined by her own player, and that bitterness is manifesting in destructive ways. We have to use the word jealousy because it's the only one that actually fits what we're seeing. Stephen A. Smith has used it repeatedly. Charles Barkley has used it. Usually we talk about players being jealous of each other on the court, rookie versus veteran drama. What Smith is exposing now is that the jealousy goes all the way to the executive suite. From the very top of the organization, why would a commissioner be jealous of her own player? Because Caitlin Clark wields more actual power and influence than Cathy Engelbert does. When Caitlin Clark speaks, the world listens. Major media outlets cover it. Social media explodes. Millions of people pay attention. When Cathy Engelbert speaks, people tune out or don't even know who she is. That's a hard reality for an executive who's used to being the most important person in the room. This new commercial cements Clark's status as the face of women's basketball, regardless of what the league standings say or what the official talking points are. The league office spent years trying to manufacture stars, trying to tell fans who to root for through marketing campaigns and promotional pushes. Then Clark showed up and it happened organically, naturally, unstoppably. She didn't need their help or their permission. The rage is the rage of a micromanager who's lost control. They can't tell Clark what to wear, what to say, or who to sign endorsement deals with because she doesn't need their approval or their money. This independence is seen as a direct threat to their authority, and we see this manifested in weird, petty ways, like how long it takes WNBA official accounts to post Clark's highlights compared to other players. Fans have documented this pattern all season long. It's childish and vindictive, and it comes from the top. When your star breaks a rookie scoring record, you should be posting that highlight immediately. Instead, there's often a delay, as if they're hoping the moment will pass without too much celebration. One of the most telling aspects of this entire situation is what the league doesn't do. When this new commercial dropped, did the WNBA official account repost it? Did they congratulate their star on expanding the game's reach? Did they issue any press release celebrating the partnership and what it means for women's basketball visibility? No. Complete radio silence. In the NBA, when stars drop new signature shoes or major advertising campaigns, the league amplifies it immediately. They understand it's good for the entire ecosystem. Rising tide lifts all boats. More eyes on LeBron means more eyes on the league, means more revenue for everyone. It's basic business sense. The WNBA's silence regarding Clark's commercial victories is deafening. It confirms everything Stephen A. Smith is saying. You only ignore your biggest star's success if you're bitter about it. If you view it as a personal loss rather than an organizational win, this silence is actively damaging the league's relationship with its fan base. The millions of new fans Clark brought in aren't stupid. They see the double standard. They see the hostility. They're starting to view WNBA leadership as the villains in this story. By refusing to embrace the commercial success, the commissioner is drawing a line in the sand. It's us versus her, leadership versus superstar. And as Stephen A. Smith has warned repeatedly, that's a war the WNBA will absolutely lose. You cannot fight cultural momentum. You cannot fight the zeitgeist. Caitlin Clark is the zeitgeist right now. Here's the darkest part that connects everything together. If the commissioner and league office are openly resentful of Clark's commercial appeal, it sends a message to the rest of the league. It signals that going after Clark is acceptable, that she doesn't have protection from the top. If the commissioner treated Clark like the generational asset she clearly is, it would set a tone of respect and protection throughout the organization. But by acting cold, by apparently raging against her marketing success, Engelbert effectively removes the protective barrier around Clark. She makes Clark a target. We've seen the hard fouls all season. We've seen blindside hits and flagrant contact that would draw suspensions in any other context. And after every incident, the league's discipline has been suspiciously slow and weak. Stephen A. Smith views this as connected. The leadership doesn't want to protect a player who makes them feel inadequate and threatened. They're letting jungle rules apply to Caitlin Clark because deep down, maybe part of them wants to see her struggle. They want her knocked down a peg so they can say, "See, she's not that special. She's just another player, but every time she gets hit, every time someone tries to humble her, she gets back up and shoots another logo three or signs another multi-million-dollar deal. And it proves them wrong all over again." The commercial isn't just advertising, it's proof that Clark has transcended the league that's trying to control her. And that drives the commissioner absolutely crazy. If this investigation opened your eyes, make sure you're subscribed with notifications on, because Stephen A. Smith says this drama is far from over, and we'll be here tracking every development. The real question is whether WNBA leadership will recognize their mistake before they destroy their own golden opportunity. Right now, it's not looking good. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.